Welcome back to the I Am More Than podcast. However you're listening to this episode, I'm so happy to have you here. We are finally incorporating a video element. So for those of you who love to watch podcasts on YouTube, we will now be on there, which I'm so excited about. So if you're watching, you'll see that I cannot stop smiling. Like I can't wipe the smile off my face if I tried, because I'm still beaming from this past weekend. And I'm so excited to dive into the full story of how it happened, because I feel like life went from being pretty manageable and like some opportunities were coming up to like flipping my world upside down, throwing me back into an industry that I haven't been a part of for a very long time, and just really reignited my passion for hosting specifically. I've loved hosting on the I Am More Than podcast, and I feel like it's really helped me become a better interviewer, but I never thought that being a podcast host would translate into being a red carpet host, which is really what ended up happening this weekend. So I want to spill all the tea about this crazy opportunity that I got, how wild the weekend was. And as much as I wanted to record this episode to let my audience and our listeners in on this wild experience, I also really wanted to do it for myself too, because I think it's really easy for me to almost not skip over exciting achievements, but get clouded by striving for more, that I don't really sit and soak in my accomplishments or appreciate the achievements as much as I would like to. And that's something that I know I never really did in my early 20s. Instead, I always looked at like opportunities of what I could do better for when I got a bigger one later down the road, instead of just acknowledging the moment that I was in. So I'm trying to be intentional about not doing that this time. So a big part of this is almost like a video diary too, so that I don't forget the feeling that I have right now, the feeling that I had all weekend, so that when some different emotions come up and when anxiety gets thrown into the picture, I don't forget to keep pushing myself. So I know that could seem like a little bit of rambling right now. So let me give you full context as to why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. So about a week ago, I got an email from my mother agent who is based in Arizona. And she said that I had been put on hold for a hosting job. And I was thrilled to hear about a hosting job just because I haven't had a lot of them come my way. And I didn't read the full like scope of what the job actually was, and just said, yeah, like would love to get back into hosting. And my agent texted me and was like, did you read what the job is? Make sure you're available for those days. And I scroll down and see that I was put on hold for Shaq's Funhouse party and the Sports Illustrated party to be a red carpet host for both events for the Super Bowl in Arizona. And I was absolutely freaking out, so excited about it. But something that I kind of learned pretty early on into my career is that just because you're put on hold does not mean that you're confirmed, and does not mean you're going to get the job. So typically when you're put on hold, it's mainly so that the client can see that you're available, so they could put multiple people on hold. And there's been a couple jobs that I've really wanted throughout my career that I got super excited about, super invested in when I was on hold, and then I just never got confirmed. So I tried not to get my hopes up too much. I was thinking about it a lot. I was praying about it. And this opportunity came to me just a couple weeks after I'd really been struggling personally. We had had a loss in the family. So like, I just felt like I was really in like a little bit of like just a lower time. So I was trying not to get overly invested, but like couldn't help but think about it 24/7. So then that following Monday, I hadn't heard anything all day. So I assumed I most likely didn't get the job, tried not to act like I cared too much, and ended up getting a text message from my agent saying they booked you for Friday night for Shaq's Funhouse. Can you be out here? And I was absolutely freaking out, was so excited, but I don't think it really hit me, or I don't think it sunk in, because I started focusing on like the logistics of it all. Like, okay, we need my flight. I need to figure out what the heck I'm wearing. I don't even know how I'm going to execute this job. Like I didn't have any details about who hired me, who I was representing, if it was going to be live TV, if it was going to be used for social media or website marketing or commercials. I was given no information other than I needed to be there at 6:00 on Friday. So Brendan was on a work trip in Colorado. I call him real quick and he's like, well, obviously I'm coming with you. I'll book our flights right now. And so he books our flights and I started trying to figure out like, okay, what does a red carpet host wear? Because I've only hosted one other red carpet, and that was for the American Country Music Awards back in 2014. So it's been a hot minute. And I did a bunch of Super Bowl events last time the Super Bowl was in Arizona, but that was 8 years ago, like right as Brendan and I started dating. So I felt a little rusty, didn't totally know what I was going to be doing, but I reached out to my former pageant director, Britt Boyce, and said, hey, do you have any contacts that could help me get a dress? And she got in contact with Sherry Hill. Come to find out, Sherry's warehouse is here in Austin, where I'm located. So I went out there, got to try on a bunch of beautiful dresses. Nadine Marabi sent me out a couple dresses. And I just started getting settled into the fact that like everything that I could control was going to be done. I had my spray tan appointment. I had my hair done. I had my outfit and was still kind of questioning in the back of my mind, one, why me? And there was another part of me that didn't want to get too excited about it or too emotionally involved in case it didn't happen, because that's also something that I've experienced. And it really made me realize that although I've done so much growth throughout my 20s, and especially being on this podcast, I'm always super vulnerable and open with you guys about my own confidence journey. And I feel like I've gotten to a place where I feel the most secure in myself that I've ever felt, coming after like a very difficult couple of years of like trying to regain my confidence, try and like get my mojo back a little bit. And I had to check myself because all of the negative self-talk that was going through my mind about like, why did they book you? Why you? What if they're expecting something different? What are they expecting of me? And so some of the anxiety started building up a little bit, a couple days leading up to it. I had a photo shoot on Thursday here in Austin. And after the photo shoot, my agent had reached out and they were like, okay, I think that unfortunately the client said that the outfits and the gowns that you have chose were a little bit too much. Instead, they want you to like go with something like a jeans and a blazer. And I'm like, I'm not showing up to a red carpet in jeans and a blazer. So I'm rushing to like get to Zara because it's the only thing that was near me to try and find another outfit. So I ended up finding stuff, getting it really quick, coming home, packing, trying to hit the ground running. And all of this is happening while I still haven't gotten a clear idea of who I'm representing, who I'm interviewing, what they want me to talk about, who the guest list is. So it really was like flying blind. So I don't think it still had really sunk in yet. It still hadn't really hit me. And then as soon as I landed in Arizona, I got the tentative guest list, which I think freaked me out even more because there was such huge names on there and they were all major athletes that I only knew the huge names because my husband is so obsessed with sports and it's always on. So I overhear. And then I started getting in my head, like, do I need to be like a sports reporter? Do I need to know their stats? Do I need to know what team they play for? Like, just trying to feel out what the heck I'm going to talk to these people about and how I'm going to look polished and put together on the red carpet. So that starts running through my mind on Thursday night. We finally go to sleep. I get up the next day and go to pick up my car, or my sister's car that we were going to be using for the weekend from her at school. And it was while we were driving in her car to go to my hair and makeup artist, the amazing Michael Franco, that it hit me. And it hit me all at one time. And I felt such an overwhelming feeling of pride. Like I was so proud of myself for getting myself to that point, for, I don't even want to get emotional thinking about it now, but for doing the work that I've done over the last 9 years of my career that has set me up for this position. And it was in that moment that I knew that it didn't matter who I was going to be talking to. It didn't matter who I was representing, that I was going to be great. And I made that conscious shift in my brain. And when I tell you that boost of confidence that came through me was so strong and so amazing that when I got to hair and makeup, he gave me a nice glass of champagne and I just settled into the fact that I was about to do the damn thing. And we showed up to Talking Stick Resort, who ended up being my client, who I was representing. I got to see the scale of the event that I was responsible for being the red carpet host for. So we walked through, it was Shaq's Fun House. And so he basically puts on a giant festival that you can get tickets to. And there's just amusement rides and games and a crazy musical lineup. And you get to meet all of these athletes and celebrities and just have a really fun time as you're prepping for the Super Bowl. And so I'm walking around while it's empty, seeing the scale of this production. And then I go into Talking Stick. I put my beautiful gold shimmery Sherry Hill dress on and was just ready to rock and roll. So I go down, I meet my film crew, we see the red carpet, and I'm right next to all of these major networks at like TMZ and E! News and Sports Illustrated and all these giant companies and brands that I respect, and was just like, how cool that little Jordan is standing here next to everybody else with just as much of a right to be here, about to interview whoever the heck walks down this red carpet. They hand me like a 10-page double-sided sheet with like headshots of who was confirmed to be coming. And on this list, there was so many people that I started like fangirling over. Like Aaron Andrews was on the list, Carissa Thompson was on the list, Stephen A. Smith, Shaq, obviously, like these huge names that like are household names that I was about to be interviewing. So then I just got like super giddy almost and like butterflies in my stomach. And given it was so cold, I lived in Arizona for a very long time, that I should have known better that like when our winter nights come, it can get chilly. But not only was it windy, it dropped significantly. And I was just in my little sequin cutout dress. So I think the adrenaline kept me warm for like the first 3 hours. And then outside of that, I started like literally shivering and like my teeth were chattering because I was so cold. And I didn't want it to come across that I was nervous. So I was trying to like do this crazy deep breathing. People are handing me jackets to try and warm up my legs in between interviews. But my very first interview of the night was Shaquille O'Neal. Like you couldn't start with somebody else so I could like get my nerves out. And thankfully, he was the easiest person in the world to talk to. It went great. And once I got that out of the way, I was like, I can talk to whoever you send my way. It's going to be great. And I rocked it out the rest of the night. I felt super confident about the way that I showed up and felt just really proud that I just did that. And as we were getting ready to leave, I had not yet been confirmed for Saturday night to host the Sports Illustrated party, but I knew that they were going to call me back. And I don't say that to be cocky. I say that because even before I had gotten there for the first event, I had asked my agent, what's the likelihood that they'll confirm me for Saturday night if I do an incredible job on Friday? She goes, never say never, but just so you know, they have confirmed somebody else. So like I wouldn't get too excited about it. Brendan was like, should I change our flight so that we fly out Saturday night so we have Sunday to relax at home? And I just kept saying like, no, we have to stay because I have to be available because they're going to book me again. So long story short, I finish up Friday night, felt really confident about my performance and go into the event. And my last interview of the night was Tiffany Haddish. unbelievable woman. She was so funny and so easy to talk to. And so I'm walking with her back into the big tent where all the musical acts are on, and Shaq is performing at that time. She goes up on stage with Shaq. I go behind the stage and I go find Brendan because he was with a group of friends that we had known from New York, that like the odds of them even connecting in Arizona was very coincidental. So he's with their whole team and their friend group up at a table. I go and I join them. We listen to Snoop Dogg, who was amazing. Diplo's performing. It was an awesome night. I swear to God, my feet were going to fall off. They have never hurt so bad. And so by like 1:30 in the morning, I was like, it's time. I need to go like elevate my feet, go try and unwind, get a good night's sleep. So we go back. We're staying with some of our good friends. And the second I like laid my head down on the pillow, like all the emotions from the night just hit me. And I'm having like flashbacks from everybody that I talked to and the interviews that I had. And then I'm thinking about like, well, for tomorrow, the things I want to improve on. And I went through this whole journey by myself in my mind until like 5:30 in the morning. So I fall asleep for a couple hours, finally wake up, turn over, look at my phone real quick to see if my agent had reached out to me. And she hadn't yet. I hadn't heard anything. And I'm texting my hair and makeup artist to let him know, because the previous day I had said, just have me on hold for the afternoon. There's a chance they're going to hire me. So as I'm texting him being like, I didn't get it, don't worry about fitting me in, I get a call and she's like, guess who wants you back? I have never felt such extreme excitement and like an overwhelming wave of relief. I was so pumped about it. And so then it's like, okay, I went to Zara. I got this incredible blue dress that I think will really shine on the red carpet. I'm getting in for hair and makeup. I'm trying to do all the things and like am just kind of pushing through to just get there so that I can show up that evening, be ready. And we went on throughout the day. I got hair and makeup done. I had a later call time than I did the night before. So Brenda and I just went around Scottsdale killing time. I ran into some old friends. I ran into Leah Blefko, who's been on the podcast before, which was awesome. And I showed up to be the host for the Sports Illustrated party and felt like I walked into there literally feeling like $1 million. Like I was so ready. I felt like the previous night was almost like a warm up for me. And our film crew could feel it too. Like it was just going to be a big night and we knew it. And the second we get on the red carpet, we had so many huge, amazing names walk down. I'm interviewing, I think Lisa Leslie was my first interview of the night, who was an absolute doll. I loved her. A bunch of different football players that I had seen the previous night are coming down and we're just having fun with each other. And like, I felt like I got out of my head about trying to be like some sportscaster and know everything about them, and instead was just like talking to them like friends. And I think it made it an enjoyable experience for them and definitely helped my own nerves. All of my friends from the Sports Illustrated swimsuit community started coming down. And there's this one moment that was such a vivid full circle and made me feel super present moment as we're interviewing all these different people, feeling good. And this black car drives up, drops off a big group of people. And at the very front of that, I see Camille Kostick. And I was so excited to see her because she had gone out for Sports Illustrated Swim Search, I believe back in 2017. So it's been some time. And I went out for it the year after. And I remember sitting in Miami with her, talking about all the things that we wanted to accomplish. We were talking about hosting, talking about modeling, talking about stepping outside of your comfort zone and just going for it. And then I had ran into her like a year later after a casting in the middle of Times Square. We had the conversation again about what we were hoping to accomplish and manifesting and supporting each other. And seeing her on the red carpet and knowing that I was going to get the opportunity to interview her and tell her face to face how proud I was of her was such a full circle moment. She came running up to me. We had a big hug. We matched. It was just an awesome, electric interview. Such a cool full circle moment. Got to meet both of her sisters, and just, it felt like a moment where I could just really remember how badly I wanted experiences like that, and knowing that I was able to do it alongside somebody that was also stepping outside of her comfort zone and chasing her dreams, and she's accomplished so much. It was just a really cool moment. So that brought tears to my eyes and really made me have even a deeper level of appreciation for the rest of the carpet. And so we continued with the night. I ended up interviewing Guy from Flavortown. I'm trying to even like remember everybody that was coming through because we were going so quickly, and there's so many different interviews that they have to do when they're on the red carpet. But I felt like since I got to move to the end the second night, I got to be their final one. So I feel like there was a little bit more fun with that, as well as relief, because they knew that they were about to go into the party and enjoy themselves. And I think I wrapped with Emmanuel Acho, which is the world's nicest guy. I absolutely loved him. And once we wrapped, I got to go back in and enjoy the night, watch Machine Gun Kelly, watch the Chainsmokers, run into some friends, and enjoy the rest of the evening. And as exhausted as I was, I could not stop smiling. Like, my cheeks hurt so badly. And I just honestly felt like I could do anything in that moment, that it was like I was so nervous about what I was going to say when I started talking to these people that I've admired from afar for so long. And it just felt so natural and so easy, and such a natural fit. Like, I felt like I was in my element. And so the rest of the night was a blast. Yesterday was kind of like a recovery day for a little bit, and just now getting back into the groove of things here in Texas too. There's been so many things that I've been working on really hard behind the scenes for a very long time that are all kind of falling into place. And it feels like the people that I was able to connect with and the job that I was able to do is aligning really well with the other things that I was already working on. So it felt very serendipitous, but it also felt very meant to be. And I've been really intentional about trying to just like sit with this time and feel all the feels, and also just be proud of myself and know that I did deserve it and that I worked really hard to achieve it. And I think that something that I've been focusing on for the last year specifically is trying to get myself to a place where I feel really strong and healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, that I'm just a well-rounded whole person. And I've done that a lot through really focusing on my mental health, trying to implement positive habits, and really trying to not only dream about things that I want to accomplish, but take tangible action. My word for this year was action. And I think because I'm such a perfectionist and I get so stuck in my head that a lot of the time I am in my own way, to be honest, because I start freaking out about releasing something or going for something if it's not going to be perfect. And I realized over this last week, especially, that I've gotten so comfortable being comfortable that the idea of pushing myself past my comfort zone was really anxiety inducing. And I remember I used to feel, when I was pushing myself outside of my comfort zone, I'd feel those like giddy butterflies. But I loved the fact that I was stepping into something that was unknown. And I think that if you don't push yourself for a long enough period of time, it's so easy to become complacent in your life, and it's really easy to settle. And it's also easy to start believing that you can't achieve the things that you want to. And I think when you start being really intentional about figuring out what it is that you do want, dreams that you want to accomplish, things you want to work towards, start taking tangible actions to get there. The combination of doing that on top of making sure that you yourself are ready and whole and complete. And if an opportunity were to come, if the things that you're hoping for were to happen, are you ready to capitalize on them? I genuinely think that if this opportunity fell on my lap a year ago, even 2 years ago, I don't know if I could say confidently that I was ready for that. And I feel like I would have held myself back because I would have waited for the perfect time. And I think that's why this experience has been so cool, because it's not anything that I forced. It's not even anything that I submitted myself for. It's almost something that fell on my lap, in the sense that I didn't push it, but that I've been wishing and hoping for opportunities like this. And I knew I was ready for whatever those came and for whatever those look like. So I think for anybody that's listening, I want you to be able to take away the fact that you too can achieve whatever you want to achieve, that I'm no more special, no more talented than you are. I think that the only difference, even between me and the version of myself prior to this chapter, even the version of myself that was in my younger 20s, I think I would have overthought it a lot more. And I'm glad that I had this experience, because it really snapped me out of the complacency feeling that I was so comfortable in, pushed me. And every time I push myself, I realize how strong I am and how capable I am. And it's almost like a superpower. It adds another layer to your confidence. And I think even though I genuinely do feel like the most confident version of myself, I too got stuck in the negative self-talk cycle the second I found out about this opportunity. Leading up to this opportunity, I really was trying to check myself every time those negative thoughts would start cycling through my mind, because I'm so aware of the fact that words have power. And the second I stopped that negative self-talk and really forced myself to encourage myself, go through affirmations, journal like crazy, and mentally prepare and visualize myself and how I would feel afterwards, it worked. All of those things that I preach in my morning routine and the different tools that I've talked about and how you gain confidence, I know sometimes it can just sound like talk, especially when you hear people talking about their confidence journey and the things that they do. And I think that when you actually take those things and you implement them and figure out what works in your life, those little things that you're doing every day are not only going to make you confident day in and day out, but it will increase your confidence like crazy when opportunities do come your way, because they will come your way. So I feel like I've learned so much in a very compact period of time, but I also feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And these opportunities that are now happening and the doors that are about to open are doors that have been in the works for a long time, but I'm stepping through them now because I've done the work on the back end to make sure I'm ready for it. So whoever's still watching, I really just want you to keep investing in yourself. Keep investing not only in your craft, whatever you're doing, whether you do have a desk job, whether you're a creator, whether you're a student, whether you're a mom, whatever your day-to-day looks like, keep investing in yourself. Keep investing in becoming the best version of yourself. So then opportunities that you're wanting, whatever those look like, when they do come your way, you're ready. Because when you are ready for something, nothing can stand in your way. Nothing can stop you. So the biggest reminder I even need for myself in this is like, get out of your own way, because at the end of the day, you can only hold you back. Nothing that's meant for you won't happen. Let me reword that. You can't stop what's meant for you. You can't. You can delay it. I know for a fact that I've delayed myself many times because I've stood in my own way instead of just allowing myself to go on a journey that's natural for me. But I feel like once you do step out of your own way, opportunities are going to present themselves for you. And when it does happen, it feels pretty freaking good. feels really, really good. So I hope that this experience can encourage you a little bit too. I'm so excited and thankful and grateful for all the overwhelming support that I've gotten throughout this journey. I'm so thankful to the people that I was able to meet. And another side note that I do want to throw in here too, real quick, is I think when you're not in the industry, or in my case, when you remove yourself from the industry and you're just kind of like looking from the sidelines, I think it's really easy to look to these people that you admire, whether they're athletes or celebrities or influencers or whoever's content you're consuming. It's really easy to look at them and think that they are better than you, or that they have something that you don't have, or be envious in some way, or look at them and treat them as if they're not just a normal everyday human. And I think having the experience and being able to work with these people directly reminded me again how human everybody actually is, how everyone's just doing the best they can and navigating through their own opportunities and their own path. So I needed to check myself when it came to not even comparing myself, but almost not humanizing the people that I was looking up to. And I think it's an important reminder for people on the internet too, to remember that these people that they're looking to are human just like the rest of us. So I think that's an interesting element, that not only did I feel more of a right to be there just like anybody else, but it also reminded me that the same like grace that you hope to be extended, the same mistakes that you make, the same chances that you do or don't take, is also something that somebody else is struggling with or dealing with, even if it's on a different scale. So it was really cool to be able to just interact with these people one-on-one. And my goal is to do so much more of this. I want to really dive into hosting. And a big part of that too is just continuing to put content out. I'm tripping over my words now. Put content out, especially on this podcast. And I've missed being able to just release episodes weekly with you guys, introduce you to the incredible network of women that I'm reaching out to constantly, because I want to learn from the women that I admire. And I know that you guys do too. So I'm happy and proud to say that the I Am More Than podcast is back in full action. We will be providing episodes weekly. We have an insane lineup of people coming. If you want to be on the podcast, you know somebody who should be on the podcast, you want to sponsor the podcast, make sure that you reach out to me through the More Than website. And I'm really excited for all that's to come. I finally feel like I got my mojo back. I'm sure you guys can feel that as well. And I'm just excited to see what's to come, because I know it's going to be beautiful. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for bearing with me over the little bit of a lull between the seasons. I appreciate you guys continuing to just support, encourage, share episodes, interact with us. It means everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you love the video element to this episode, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon.